What is up, Dish Rags? JJ back here from Run Pure Bets with another free pick for it. This time it's going to be in the NFL for Thursday, December the 2nd. Game is going to be played between the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. Current betting spread is Cowboys minus 4.5. Total 47.5. So last week I skipped out on a solo Thursday Night Football video as yes, it was Thanksgiving. But instead, I did go live discussing each game. But look, we're back to normal this week. Let's quickly recap on what we've seen in the league the last week. Thanksgiving proved that not only that holiday is a good spot for the Lions to grab a win, but they played a team to grab a win. And I'm not saying Dan Campbell can't improve as a head coach, but he's the reason they've lost nearly all their close games. People line up to bet this team weekly and just watch him make blunder after blunder in head coaching decisions. The Lions are not a terrible team, but they sure go out of their way to look like one every week. And again, Dan Campbell is not helping that. Sure, an emotional guy, loves to get rowdy and such, and you want to root for him, but no, he's terrible. Cowboys have not been the same or even looked the same since Dak's injury, and now are dealing with semi-cascading injuries on offense. They might get a little healthier, but McCarthy also another guy making head coaching blunders within games. But at least it appeared the refs fisted them in that Raiders game, kind of keep McCarthy off the hook, but he made another few questionable decisions down the stretch of that game. Look, the Bills and Josh Allen offensively bounced back, but this Bills team is still too inconsistent to love their Super Bowl aspirations. We could talk a little on Sunday too. Cam Newton screams I'm back one week, and then just a few short weeks later, posts a quarterback rating of 5.8, and right back to the bench he goes. This was one of the worst statistical QB performances of the season. Cam's back all right. The Colts played one of their best games of the season and still lost at home to the Buccaneers. I'm currently not sure if this proves the lack of Colts upside or how elite or how truly elite the Bucs are. I mean, Wentz looked really good in a loss, which isn't good if you're a Colts fan. With the pieces around him, if he plays good and the Colts still lose, that's a problem. Now, there comes a time in a young man's life when he has no choice but to take a trip to the glue factory. I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger. We can blame the O-line all we want, but Big Ben's feet are bolted to the turf every Sunday, and he's just a weekly piñata back there. The Patriots keep winning games with no receivers, no elite talent at running back, average QB and Mac Jones, but an elite defense, elite offensive line play, and a great coaching staff. Who says you need flashy players on offense to win football games in this sport? I mean, coaches league and a trenches league. New England's proven that week in and week out. Jalen Hurts, speaking of proved, Jalen Hurts has proved throwing the football with consistency is still an issue for him. Had a few good games in a row. Then he drops a pivotal game to the G-Man where I think he threw 3 or 4 interceptions or had 4 turnovers, at least 3 interceptions. Speaking of the G-Man, Freddie Kitchens calling plays did not help this offense at all. I've said a while that I think Jason Garrett's done a decent job calling plays for them. I just think that as a team, they're not that talented. I don't know. I think Barkley's just not fully recovered from his injury, and they just have they've had interesting injuries or unique injuries week to week in the receiving core. O-line sucks. I just think this team sucks. So, I think that they blame Garrett as a scapegoat, but I think this team just sucks. The Jets win a battle in the tomato cans versus the Texans where, yes, I'm going to take an early victory lap here on Zach Wilson. He sucks. Sure, he doesn't have talent around him, but he's absolutely painful to watch. I was super low on him coming into the season, and I truly think Mike White isn't starting for them simply because it's an awful look for the GM. If they start White over Wilson, considering how high they drafted Wilson, it's just a terrible look for the GM, the head coach, and all around. And but White's better than Wilson right now. I don't even have any doubts on that. And at least he gives this offense a heartbeat. Zach Wilson, again, just tough to watch week in and week out. They won the game, but it wasn't because of Zach Wilson. Chargers continue to be the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the NFL. Vikings lose another game where they led by 7 or more points. They led by a touchdown or more in every game this season, and yet have more losses than wins. I personally blame Zimmer and the head coaching staff, and ironically enough, Mike Zimmer calls these close losses being battle-tested. LOL. The Rams continue their recent slide and are winless since they've gotten Odell Beckham Jr. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, am I right? Stafford looks out of sorts, and the Packers are still Matt Stafford's father. The Browns' offense continues to be a brutal watch, and Baker Mayfield's playing like he's injured everywhere. I can't fathom how he's a better start right now than Case Keenum. But the Browns are going to Browns, and Lamar Jackson threw 3 picks in 1 quarter on Sunday night, reminding folks, like myself, that he still has some gaps to fill throwing the foosball. Credit to Lamar, though. He's made some severe improvements passing, but hopefully that last game's regression doesn't become a pattern. Chef Russ Wilson is still having issues finding his recipes. Maybe he's not 100% healthy, but Russ has been doing everything except cooking recently. That about sums it all up. So let's talk some Thursday Night Football. New Orleans Saints get to host the Dallas Cowboys, and there's some interesting things to sift through here. Will Taysom Hill start? Will Alvin Kamara come back? Looks like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are going to play. Will both of them play? One of them play? None of them? Look, there's so many weird news with injuries and obviously COVID that it makes things tough to handicap. But I do have a spot in this game that I like regardless. It's the first half under 24 points. Got this minus 120 in FanDuel in New Jersey. I'm okay to go to 23.5, but it goes without saying how key 24 can be, especially in a first half bet. I would only play 23.5 if you were able to get it at dog money. Believe it or not, the Cowboys are one of the worst scoring first half road teams in the National Football League. Less than 10 points per first half on the road. An abbreviated week certainly isn't going to help matters, and with the injury bug that they're up against as well. And by the way, the Giants, yes, the Giants are a better first half scoring road team than the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys have scored 3 or less points in the first half in 3 of their last 5 games. We can make excuses all we want, but this team is struggling to find consistency early on. I'm also not 100% sure Dak's fully healthy yet since his return. And while the Saints have given up plenty of points over the recent stretch, I attribute all of this to being their lack of offense. They just can't sustain drives, and they're getting crushed in time of possession, which is meaning their defense is on the field a lot more than it needs to be. Saints aren't doing anything on offense these days, and their consistency with 3 and outs just puts a ton of pressure on their defense. This spot may be a bit different, though, with Taysom Hill getting the nod. Good news is if Hill starts, is that this offense will likely turn into some flavor of a hybrid wildcat. Not that Taysom Hill can't throw, but he's definitely more of a threat running the football than throwing. His accuracy's been a major issue throughout his career. And look, if Taysom Hill is healthy enough to start, because that's the issue, right? And I'm Sean Payton, I'm doing all I can to eat up clock and shorten this game on possession by possession basis. Speaking of not scoring in the first half, Saints have been absolutely abysmal early in games offensively since Jameis Winston went down. Scored 7 points or less in 4 straight first halves. They were shut out twice. Saints have been piling up fourth quarter points against prevent defenses with Semien, but and it could happen again here if Taysom Hill struggles, or even if Semien gets to start. But again, that wouldn't impact this bet in the least. Cowboys piled on points last week versus the Raiders, but most of it came because the Raiders were putting a lot of pressure on the Cowboys to score, right? Cowboys were trailing most of the game. The Saints likely won't put this type of offensive pressure on the Cowboys, and Saints have lost 4 straight, but they're still in the playoff hunt, believe it or not. Cowboys have lost 3 of 4, and they still have a sizable lead in the NFC East. It just goes to kind of say how much parity there's been in the NFL this season, right? Cowboys look to be getting healthier this week, and as do the Saints, but I simply can't look past the scoring woes of both these teams early in games. And just because they're getting folks back, still a lack of continuity there, right? And especially recently, these teams just haven't been scoring. Now, yes, both teams have had a full week in between this game and their last, but the timing's still different, right? It's not normal to play back-to-back Thursday night games. At the end of the day, this Saints defense has just played poor recently, but they're still a good unit. They just need to be on the field less. The Saints have had an average time of possession of 25 minutes their last 3 games. It's good for 3rd worst in the NFL during that stretch. So again, this goes more to their lack of offense. If Hill starts, they likely have a better shot to at least churn clock. And while they're certainly going to lack consistent explosiveness, they should be able to grind out longer drives, and they're definitely going to take points when they come their way, like field goal kicking. Hill, of course, can hit a chunk play here and again, but he hasn't started a game in some time, so I'd expect some wrinkles. All in all, the Saints' path to victory here is slowing this game down to a crawl. Turning this into a shootout is exactly what Dallas wants to do, but Dallas's pattern of starting games slow recently is becoming alarming. Outside of the Falcons game, they really haven't blown up in the first half in quite some time. 2 teams struggling to get out of the gate, with the home team needing to slow this down to keep pace, makes the under 24 a targetable spot. So again, play I'm on is Saints, Cowboys, first half, under 24. Got this minus 120 FanDuel in New Jersey. May the odds be ever in our favor. And yes, I'm rocking the DK hat from our boy Jason Robbins, who made a pretty ludicrous comment the other day about DraftKings as a whole. I'm not going to talk on it much, but Google it. It's pretty interesting. Wild, some may say. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Create some fake accounts. More thumbs up. If you did not enjoy this, I hope you walk into a telephone poll. As always, drop comments below your thoughts on the play. Let me know who you like for this Thursday Night Football matchup. And be sure to comment either way, because no one, and I mean no one, likes a silent stalker. As always, we'll have a fun-filled weekend of content on this channel, so be sure to soak it all in. More NFL content, more college football, NBA, and of course UFC. Also, quick shout out to Spread and Tower, daily NBA shows. And of course the guests from Unpure that joined them. These daily NBA preview shows have been crushing it. So if you're into betting NBA, it's 45 minutes about their show. They run down the entire card of the day, give out best bets as well. So it's a great show to watch. Again, just great content all around on this channel. I'll be back with a college video for Friday, but until then, be sure to gamble responsibly, stay safe, folks, and run pure.